This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, Kiran. Mm, You're not audible. I mean, that's what your case. You're talking something?
No, no. No, Kiran, you're not
No.
audible.
Am I audible now?
It's too low. Your voice is too low.
Hello? Is this better now?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
little bit
Yes,
better, Kiran.
Okay. Okay.
now it is good.
Okay, cool. So let me share my screen. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is we will try to understand the
Kiran, we
simple
lost you
thing.
again.
API stands for Application Programming Interface. And if from a testing perspective, an API is a component to help in data transfer from one module to let's try to understand that
Actually,
definition from a
actually,
diagram. So I have taken
actually, na Kiran, hello, Kiran. Actually, your voice is
Kiran,
now actually
example.
not breaking.
So
Breaking, your voice is breaking.
yes, Kiran, your voice is still breaking.
my voice is breaking.
Yes, Kiran. I mean, when you started saying something, it was breaking in between.
I don't breaking still.
Yes.
Okay.
Possibly, if you can rejoin, we can stay here.
Okay.
That's literally better for us.
Okay. Okay. Let me rejoin. I'll probably make one of you as a organizer. So I'm making Ashish you as an organizer. So I'll rejoin.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Sorry about that. Maybe it's an issue on my side only, but I'm on broadband, but still there's a problem today. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Please confirm if my screen share is also visible.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
yes, clear.
Yeah. So I'm taking this simple Amazon application, and let's talk about 4 modules. One is login module, 2 logout module, 3 add items to shopping cart, 4 make a payments module. We know that in any software application, there are so many modules, and most of the modules are dependent on each other, meaning one module cannot work if the other module is failing. And sometimes few modules are independent, which means even if a module fails, the other module will still work because they are independent of each other. Let's talk in this scenario which modules are dependent on each other and which modules are independent. Obviously, looking at the diagram, we can figure out that the logout module is dependent on login module, which means you cannot log out if you have never logged in. That's a simple logic, right? Similarly, if you talk about make a payments module, you cannot make a payment in Amazon if you have not logged in, right? Because if you want to make a payment, you should be logged in. Only then Amazon application will come to know your default delivery address, your default payment methods, and any coupon codes available already with you, so it can apply it. So make a payments module is also dependent on login module. Plus, you cannot initiate a payment if you don't have items in the shopping cart. So we need to have minimum 1 item in the shopping cart for us to initiate a payment, which means make a payments module is also dependent on add items to shopping cart. So if you see here, logout module is dependent on login module, and make a payments module is also dependent on login module. Apart from that, make a payments module is also dependent on add items to shopping cart. So what happens is whenever the user clicks on logout button in any project, in any application, be it a web application or a mobile application, when you click on logout, the logout will send a request to the login API and says, did the current user still logged in? If yes, is his session valid? Then login module will give back a response to the logout module saying, yeah, this user is logged in, his session is still valid. Or it might say the user is not logged in. Or if the user is logged in, the session is invalid. So you get some response. Similarly, when you click on make a payment in any application, make a payment will send a request to login saying, tell me if the user is first logged in. Then login module will give an answer saying, yes, the guy is logged in, or no, the guy is not logged in. So you get back a response. Similarly, when you click on make a payment, the make a payment also sends a request to shopping cart module asking, hey, tell me, did this user added any items in the shopping cart? Then add items to shopping cart module gives a response to the make a payments module. So here, if you have observed, there is something happening called as sending a request and receiving a response, right? So this is what is happening. Send a request and receive a response. This is nothing but data transfer process. That is what you see here, which I have written here as a data transfer in my definition. And each module is sending a request and getting a response. That is called as a data transfer. So which technology does this Amazon application uses or any other e-commerce application uses to send a request and receive a response or to make these modules talk to each other? The answer is API technology. So here we leverage a technology called as APIs, and the APIs will play the role of sending a request from module 1 to module 2 and module 2 to module 3 in the form of a response. This is how you can visualize the definition that I had written here. So what is an API? It's a piece of code written by the developer to enable data transfer from one place to another place, from one module to another module in a given project. Just like if you are feeling hungry now, it's dinner time. If you are lazy enough to prepare food, what do? We order food in Zomato or in Swiggy. So here what's happening, there are 3 different actors involved. when you are ordering food online. Actor 1 is involved, actor 2 is involved, actor 3 is involved. Actor 2 is you, meaning let's say Kiran here. Actor 1, okay. Actor 2 is the restaurant from where you are ordering your food item. Actor 3 is the Swiggy or the Zomato delivery boy, right? The 3 actors are involved here. Ideally, actor 1 and actor 2 should directly communicate, but because of the technology being available, because of Kiran being a lazy guy, actor 3 came into picture. And he started saying that let actor 1 talk to actor 3 indirectly via actor 2, right? So here, actor 1, you can think of module 1, and you can think of actor 2 as module 2. And module 1 and module 2 are talking to each other using a Swiggy or using an API technology. Okay, and Kiran is the guy who is purchasing it, right? So this guy is called as consumer. And actor 2 is the restaurant which is preparing the food, and they are called as producer. And in API also you hear the word consumer and producer. So consumer is the application that consumes the data. Producer is the application that generates the data. So here, logout is asking a question to login. So logout is the consumer. And login module is giving an answer to logout. So login is the producer of data. Similarly, make a payments is asking add items to shopping cart. So make payments module is the consumer, and add items to cart is the producer. So whoever is asking, they will consume the data. Whoever is giving a response, they are the producers. Okay, so this is also a terminology that people use while defining an API. So I can define an API that it is used to transfer data between a producer and consumer. So an API enables data transfer between a producer application and consumer application. That's another definition of an API that people ask in the interviews. Okay, so we know now what is a producer: someone who produces data, who gives responses. Consumer is the guy who receives the responses to consume it. And an API always works between two actors, producer and a consumer application. Am I clear, guys, on the definition of what is an API from a diagrammatical perspective?
Yes.
Yeah, almost. Just could you please repeat from logout is the consumer, login is the producer, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. So let's say I have logged in into Amazon.in, maybe around 8 p.m. in the evening. And then I had some other work on the phone, so I was talking to my friend. And after some time, I came back to Amazon.in and I clicked on logout. So Kiran clicked on logout button on Amazon.in website. Immediately what happens as a user, we know that we will be logged out. But before you get logged out, what happens is the logout code will send a request. To whom? To the login module. Why? To know whether Kiran is still logged in actually, because he was idle for 30 minutes. Then you get a response. You get a response from login to logout module. And that response could be, yeah, Kiran is still logged in, or maybe Kiran is automatically logged out. So some response will come. And then what happens? The user will be terminated from server session, meaning you will be logged out, simply say. So this is what happening here. So logout is sending a request, which means it wants some response, and login is giving a response. So login is checking the database and then giving a response, meaning it is producing some response to you. It is producing content to you. Therefore here, logout module becomes the producer because it is producing information to you because you asked some question to it. And who asked that question? Login asked it. So which means login is the consumer. Like you asked me, can you repeat this? So you are the consumer. And you asked me, so I have to explain it to you. So I am the producer. So now I am the producer, you are the consumer. The producer produces content and the consumer receives the content. That is what you see in the current diagram also. Logout is the logout is the consumer and login is the producer. I just interchanged it. Okay, am I clear now? I mean, did I further confuse you or is it clear?
Oh, it was clear.
Yeah, cool. Now the second question that we have to answer is, okay, now diagrammatically we understood that login and logout are talking to each other using this API concept. But how do they exchange data? Like I said, there is a data transfer, right? Here in the definition, I said data transfer is happening. But the data transfer happens how? Like what language they use for transferring the data? Like I'm talking to you guys in English. So I'm exchanging my knowledge with you in English. Because we equally believe that English is a better way to take knowledge. So English on me. However, the modules, they don't speak English, they're not.
Hi Kiran, your voice is breaking, Kiran.
Kiran, your voice is break. Hello.
Guys, am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
Kiran.
it's audible. Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like there is some network issues my side. Sorry about that. So I was saying data transfer, right? So how these modules are exchanging data with each other. Like what is the language they use to transfer the data from one module to another module. So there are plenty of data transfer formats the internet is using. So the industry can use, the developer can use text format, HTML format, XML format, JSON format, YAML format, etc. So these are the different formats in which the data can be transferred from one module to another module. Like I can talk to you in English, Hindi, let's say Spanish, French, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Hindi, etc., right? Similarly, when these modules are exchanging data with each other using APIs, they can exchange the data in any of these formats, such as text, HTML, XML, JSON, and YAML. In this, text is very old way of representing the data transfer, which is actually outdated. Then you have HTML to describe the data in web pages. It can also be used to transfer the data using API technologies, but that is also very old format. It is outdated. Then we have XML, extensive markup language, which is also little outdated, maybe around 90% it's outdated. But today, most of the times in APIs, we use JSON, JavaScript object notation. Guys, I hope you are following me, right?
Yeah, yes, Kiran.
Yes, Kiran.
Yes.
Yeah. So when the developers develop APIs, the developers are the deciding factors to say whether the data transfer will happen from this module to another module in text or HTML or XML or JSON or YAML. As of today, if you ask me, most of the times developers go for JSON format. In some projects, they are going for YAML format. In very, very rare situations, they go for XML format. We will talk about all these formats later in the upcoming classes. When I teach you project 1, project 2, project 3, you will come to understand all these things. But right now, I just wanted to let you guys know that these modules, whether it is a mobile application or a web application, these modules exchange data using a technology called as APIs. And the APIs leverage JSON or YAML or XML or HTML or text as a mode of communication from one module to another module. Am I clear until this point?
Yes.
So if I say text format, it is normal English text only. Text does not follow any syntax. If it is HTML format, I'm sure you guys have heard of this kind of HTML coding, right? So like this, the HTML tags will be there, and here the data transfer messages will be there. This is how HTML will look like. And in the place of data transfer, see, you can have anything like body. Again, the body tag will be closed. Then you have H1 for heading, and then the heading H1 will be closed. So like this, you see the HTML format has this kind of syntax. But HTML is outdated when it comes to APIs. If the developer is using XML format, you will see the tags like XML, like this. And then you will see something like envelope, like this. This is just a small example I'm giving you. Don't worry about what I'm doing right now. We are in the very initial classes. I'm just trying to give you some syntax, how they look like. So this is how your XML looks like. Okay. And if it is a JSON format, it follows something called as this kind of parentheses, flower brackets, and it has key and value pairs. So like this, you will have key and value pairs in JSON format. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. We will talk more about JSON in tomorrow's class. Right now, I do not want to get into too much of details. Just my intention in this class is to help you guys understand the definition of an API, introduce the word consumer and producer, tell you diagrammatically where APIs are getting used and what kind of data transfer, data formats they use. And why is API testing important? The last question I want to answer in today's class is, APIs are important because 95% of the applications that you see on the internet, or 95% of the applications that you see on your smartphones, they use APIs. If you pick your smartphone has got so many apps installed. Like if I take a guess, you have WhatsApp, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have Twitter, you have LinkedIn, then you have Swiggy, then you have Zomato. Okay, then let's say you have Uber Taxi, or you have Rapido, or you have Ola Cabs, you might have Oyo Hotels, you might have Make My Trip website, or Make My Trip app, or Book My Show app, etc. The list continues. All these apps are using APIs, which means your smartphone is completely making use of APIs. Without APIs, none of these apps would be so profitable today. Okay, because Make My Trip, let's say Book My Show. So you are booking a show using a third-party app in PVR or Inox Theater, which is owned by someone else, and then you make payment using a credit card, which is owned by ICICI Bank or State Bank of India. So Book My Show belongs to one person. Credit card belongs to another bank. The theater in which you are booking a show belongs to another owner. So 3 different websites, 3 different owners are coming together to make one ticket booked, which means a lot of APIs are getting exchanged there. The same example is applicable even for Make My Trip also, or Ola Cabs, or your hotels, or anything, Zomato, Swiggy, anything. Without APIs, I can simply say that we are not going to have the luxury of what we are enjoying today in the form of sitting at home and booking things online and getting things delivered at your doorsteps. It is all because of APIs technology. It has been made possible. And that's the primary reason why API developers are important. API testers are also important. This is what I have in today's second class. I know that the class will go for 10 o'clock, but today, because of internet disconnectivities, I think I'll just conclude the call here only today. So we just covered what are APIs with an example, and I've just given you data description formats in a given enterprise application, which is your HTML format, text format, XML, JSON, and YAML format. In the next class, we will talk about client and server architecture model when an API testing is involved. That's all I have for today, guys. If you have any questions, you have 1 minute to ask those questions now. As the internet is really bad today, I don't want to have that inconvenience to you and me. Any questions? Okay, I hope I'm still audible.
Yes, Kiran. On daily basis, you are going to share the notes, right?
Yes. The classes are getting recorded, and the notes also you will get it on a daily basis.
Okay.
Yep.
That's running notes
Okay.
only, right?
Both running notes and the detailed notes you'll get.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. That's all I have for today, guys. Sorry about that network connectivity issues which I'm facing. Thank you very much for your patience. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.